Welcome back to part 3 of this Hay Wagon series. And if you missed the last video, part 2, definitely check that out, because we started getting logs for our own saw milling, cutting board operation, and we're going to be continuing that today. The last video, we were actually using the four-wheeler with the winch, which worked, but I think there's a little bit more of an efficient way to do it, and there's some that are a little bit harder to get to that the four-wheeler just probably won't do, and the winch cable started to fray and stuff, so I think we were stressing it a little bit too hard. So today we're going to be using the excavator, and our first victim is probably going to be that one that's leaning up there right now, because one, it's right here along the field edge, and there's all these chickens out again. You can't keep anything in. But anyway, we're going to try and get that out. We're going to cut a little section off of it to make sure it's good solid wood, and I'm pretty sure it is, because this tree fell within the last year and a half, so that one should be good, and there's more logs back in there, so we're going to see what we can do with this. This is super sketch because the camera probably doesn't pick it up very well, but we're on like a hill and this much weight hanging out, and I mean, this thing might take a lot more than I think to roll it, but man, it's sketchy. I definitely want to make sure that this is solid before I go to the trouble of dragging it all back out into the field and making a mess. Not real promising. A little solid there, but then pretty much all the way around that's not terrible, but the bottom side there's kind of junky. This side here, again, not the best, and this is smaller anyway. So I think I'm going to try and rotate this around, get it all the way up there where I can cut off of the big end, because that's where the majority of the good lumber is going to come from, not so much down here. This is the end that should be solid, and it definitely looks decent, sort of. That's pretty good. Again, a lot of stuff on the outside. I can't poke through it, but it is obviously a lot softer than the center. but I think it'll make a decent log. Probably once we get out there to the smaller stuff, it's probably gonna be about it, but we can at least get an 8-footer out of this here. So we got two 8-footers, or a little over 8 foot. I think I cut them like 8.5, 9 feet, just so I have a little extra. The ones that I kind of would like to know about is the other cutoff end, which is way up in there. And there's also one here, but that's all knotty and like full of branches and stuff coming off. So that really won't work. But I definitely think this one up here is a lot bigger around. We also have another one there. That one looks too far gone. But this one, again, we're probably gonna run into the same thing, that, you know, the first couple inches maybe of this are gonna be kind of rotten. However, this one does have a lot of the bark kind of left on it, but kind of not. So I'm not really sure. We'll have to try and get in here and see. The other thing would be trying to get it out. I've managed to get both of them on here. So now I can take them down with the other one down there at the barn. The other two that we have down there, I was gonna try and get the 4-wheeler and, you know, drag them down from here. But, you know, if I can take it like this, take it slow, and hopefully nothing goes janky with this one. But it should stay right there. That one I know will stay there. We got 4 logs, 2 really long ones that I'm really hoping will make our runner boards. And then everything else from here should be able to be 8-footers. And I haven't decided what I really want to do yet, if I want to make 2x4s, 2x6s, or I'm assuming it's going to have to be, because I'm not going to do 4x4 runners, I'm assuming it's going to have to be at least 2 inches thick or 1.5 inches. If we do rough cut, we can do actual, you know, real 2x4s. I think I have just managed the impossible, because I didn't think that was gonna happen. I wasn't sure what I was gonna do with this, if I was gonna cut it into 8-foot sections. But as you can see, this is pretty solid. So I'm thinking we may be able to get at least one of the runners out of this one. So I left this one about 16, 17 feet, if not a little bit more than that. But like I said, it's pretty solid. And I mean, even into the solid point there, wherever, it's about 8 inches across, almost 9. So, and some of this is even solid too. So I may be able to get one of the runners, because I think I need at least 8 or 9 inches. So get the rest of this brush cut off and take that one down. Well, that was really painless. I thought that was gonna be a lot harder than it was. So now, I think there's that dead one right there that's still standing, and that could prove to be, since it is still connected to the ground, it may not have rotted away as quick, but since it is dead and it did break off, that could mean something else. And actually it's must have been really windy, because the other half of it, so the standing part is right there, the other half of it is right there, so that's pretty far. This one that I was talking about earlier that I wasn't gonna mess with is like the perfect length, and I cut off of both sides. It's a little hard for me to get in here, but this is super solid. I mean, this has a lot of the bark and stuff on it. I obviously got to cut all these off because we're only going to use the straight piece there, but it is straight the whole length. Might have a little bit of a bow to it, but we also cut on this side and it's solid for the most part. So I think I'm going to try and get that out too, and also go up here and try and get this one out. That looks like I'll probably get at least 2 lengths of 8-footers, maybe 2.5. This one's a lot bigger around than it looks, so I'm gonna try and drop it in that little opening there, and maybe I can drive up with the excavator and just slide it out. But it's kind of leaning back. That went pretty well. Not quite where I wanted it, but this tree was in the way. I couldn't really drop it down there. I can still come up there and probably pull it out. It is a lot more rotten than what I was anticipating. However, it's so big around. I mean, you can see it's solid for pretty much the whole thing. Over here, it's a little bit soft and questionable, but it still has a pretty good chunk. Well, that went easier than planned too. Slid it right out and drug it out. This one really doesn't have all that many branches and stuff coming off. There's one, there's a couple small ones here and there. I'm debating if I want to cut it up here and then I have to move 2, or cut that straight edge off down there, kind of get a rough measurement, and then take it down there and cut it to the 8 foot, because I don't see the reason to move 2 pieces when we could only move 1. So this one's pretty solid too. I was planning on doing only 8-footers from here on out, but the more I keep getting better wood, I'm thinking I may end up leaving this really long too, because this may work for a runner, and then worst case scenario, the other ones will get cut down. So I think we'll take this one. I'll take this one down as it is whole. I'll see how long it is first, but I think we'll leave this one whole, and then from everything from here on out, it's just going to be 8-footers, because we have no need for anything really longer than that. These are some really good straight logs. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 including that one. That one I really don't know what I'm gonna do with yet, because you're only gonna be able to get a board, you know, even though it's like really wide down there, you're only gonna be able to get it at as your narrowest point. So we'll see. As you've seen, we got a good pile of logs. So that's gonna pretty much do it for today's video. We're losing daylight, losing it fast. So I'm gonna kind of go out through the ridge here and see if I can find anything else, anywhere else that we can cut. And I know there are some other logs because I seen them when we came down. So that's gonna do it for today's video. This is part 3. Stay tuned and be sure to subscribe, because you don't want to miss any future content with anything, including this hay wagon build. It's gonna be sick. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video. As always, have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.